In April 2012, master craftsman Randy Grubb unveiled one of the most unusual custom vehicles ever built, the Blastolene Decoliner. After more than 6,000 hours of hand-built craftsmanship, it combined a 1953 White COE truck cab with a 1973 GMC Motorhome chassis beneath a fully hand-formed aluminum body. But its most remarkable feature wasn't the futuristic design, it was the ability to drive the 35-foot machine from a second steering station mounted on the roof. This is the story of the Decoliner, a rolling Art Deco masterpiece that blurred the line between vehicle and sculpture. To truly understand this rolling piece of art, you have to look into the mind of its creator, Randy Grubb. He is not a traditional mechanic or a corporate car designer. He is an automotive sculptor. As a leading member of the famous Blastolene Brotherhood, a group of independent American craftsmen known for building giant engine-swapped custom machines, Randy doesn't build vehicles to fit into society. He builds them to challenge reality. Before the Decoliner, he gained legendary status in the car world by building the famous Jay Leno tank car, a massive roadster powered by a 30-liter patent tank engine. But by 2010, Randy wanted to build something entirely different. He was deeply inspired by the Art Deco design movement of the 1930s and the retro-futuristic concept drawings of the 1950s. He envisioned a highly stylized, shiny American cruiser that looked like a cross between a luxury motorhome, a vintage commercial truck, and a high-speed passenger train from the future. It wasn't meant for mass production, nor was it meant to look practical. The goal was to push the absolute limits of hand-formed metalwork and create a functional piece of fine art that could drive across the country. Randy wanted a vehicle that would make everyone on the highway stop and stare in absolute disbelief. He spent months drafting the lines of the body, calculating the dimensions, and figuring out how to build a giant aluminum shell that could withstand highway crosswinds while carrying a second driving station on its roof. This obsessive vision is what set the stage for one of the most complex garage builds in automotive history. To bring this wild vision to life, Randy couldn't just buy parts off a shelf. He had to strip down and merge two entirely different eras of American automotive history. He started with the heavily rusted cab of a 1953 White COE, or cab-over-engine commercial truck. This vintage truck provided the perfect retro, rounded face for the front of the vehicle. But a heavy commercial truck chassis would ride too rough and sit too high off the ground for a sleek cruiser. To solve this, Randy made a genius engineering choice. He tracked down a 1973 GMC Motorhome. This wasn't just any old camper. The 1973 GMC is legendary because it features a low-profile, tandem rear axle and a front-wheel drive layout. By using this specific chassis, Randy eliminated the need for a long drive shaft running down the middle of the vehicle, allowing him to keep the floor incredibly low and flat, maximizing the interior living space. Next came the power plant. Mounted under the floor is a massive 455 cubic inch Oldsmobile Toronado V8 engine. This heavy-duty motor sends all its torque straight to the front wheels, pulling the massive house on wheels rather than pushing it. Combining a 1950s semi-truck face with a 1970s motorhome frame required months of precise cutting, welding, and structural reinforcing to ensure the Frankenstein setup could safely handle highway speeds. Once the foundational engineering was perfectly locked together, Randy was finally ready to face his biggest challenge yet, hand-shaping the giant metallic body completely from scratch. With the chassis and engine perfectly mated, Randy began the most grueling and artistic phase of the build, creating the entire outer shell from scratch. The Decoliner does not wear a single drop of paint, nor does it use cheap fiberglass panels. Instead, its body is made entirely from raw, hand-blown automotive aluminum. For nearly 2 years, Randy spent an astonishing 6,000 hours inside his workshop, manually shaping, bending, and hammering giant sheets of metal over a custom-built wooden framework. Every single curve, rivet line, and seam had to be perfectly symmetrical, leaving absolutely no room for error. If a single panel was warped or hammered too thin, the entire section had to be scrapped and restarted from zero. To give the vehicle its distinct retro-futuristic look, Randy integrated large, sweeping teardrop fender flares over the wheels and hand-formed a massive, polished aluminum grille that mimics the look of a classic 1930s streamliner train. To contrast the heavy metal look, he installed large, custom-cut side windows that flood the interior with natural light, along with a row of small porthole windows near the top. He then added a brilliant neon accent tube running along the side of the body, which illuminates the bare metal at night, making it look even more like a spaceship floating down the dark highway. Every square inch of the aluminum was meticulously sanded and polished to a mirror-like satin finish, highlighting the incredible craftsmanship that went into every hammer blow. The result of this obsessive labor wasn't just a functional camper shell. It was a breathtaking, lightweight aerodynamic sculpture that looked incredibly fast even when parked completely still. It was an engineering achievement that proved Randy wasn't just building a custom truck, he was reviving a lost art form of master metal shaping. While the hand-sculpted aluminum body is a visual masterpiece, the true engineering miracle of the Decoliner is its functional top deck, inspired by the flying bridge design found on luxury yachts. Randy Grubb wanted the ability to captain this massive land vessel directly from the roof. To make this safe and street legal, he rejected electronic drive-by-wire systems, choosing instead to build a completely mechanical steering link for absolute reliability at high speeds. He installed a heavy-duty marine steering column and a secondary set of foot pedals onto the open-air roof deck, protected by a beautiful, wrapped aluminum railing. This top column runs a physical shaft directly down through the interior ceiling, connecting physically to the main steering box on the lower dashboard. The mechanical link is so perfectly synchronized that when you turn the custom steering wheel on the roof, the steering wheel inside the driver's cabin spins at the exact same time. Driving a 35-foot, $500,000 aluminum rocket while sitting 10 feet in the air presents a wild sensory experience. The driver is exposed directly to the highway wind, looking down over the massive rounded hood with a completely unobstructed 360-degree view of the open road. Randy engineered the weight distribution perfectly so that even with passengers sitting on the roof deck lounge, the low-profile GMC chassis keeps the center of gravity low, preventing the vehicle from swaying or tipping around tight corners. It is a brilliant blend of nautical engineering and hot rod ingenuity that makes the Decoliner completely unique in the automotive world. Step inside the Decoliner, and the experience changes completely. The interior feels like a luxury private jet from a bygone era, featuring beautiful hardwood floors, custom bench seating, and a sleek, minimalist dashboard that echoes the Art Deco exterior. Every detail, from the light fixtures to the metal trim, was selected to match Randy's original artistic vision. The financial value of this masterpiece reflects the immense labor required to build it. With 6,000 hours of elite craftsmanship, high-end materials, and its twin chassis engineering, the estimated value of the Decoliner sits at a staggering $500,000. But its real value isn't found in a price tag. It is found in the reaction of everyday drivers whenever this shining aluminum spaceship cruises down the American highway, with its captain steering confidently from the roof deck. Randy Grubb didn't just build a highly modified camper, he proved that with enough dedication, historic automotive design can be resurrected into a functional piece of modern fine art. The 2012 Blastolene Decoliner stands as a monumental achievement in custom culture, a true 1950s space rocket built for the open highway. Thank you for watching the incredible history of the Blastolene Decoliner. If you love rare engineering and classic automotive stories, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives. Please note, the historical facts and events presented in this documentary are thoroughly researched for educational entertainment. No deception or harm is intended to any individual or brand.